Hello, beautiful. It's Alexia, and in today's video, we are going to be reviewing the BedHead curler. It's the rock and roll edition. It's a 2-in-1. Honestly, I got this for the pretty aqua color, and it looked like a really nice curler online. So I'm gonna be using this on a wig that I had. While we do this, we're also going to talk about Utah and the limit of social media to children. So if you haven't heard, Utah, starting next year, children and teenagers will have limited access to social media. So I know you're wondering, what does that mean exactly? What is limited access to social media? It means they could be limited to social media platforms by their parents. So some of the main points of this is social media sites and platforms will have to require age verification. They will also have to give parents access to their child's account, and they'll have to prohibit kids under 18 from using social media between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. So this is the move that Utah is making, and here's a list of other states that are also going to transition and make that change. So how do I feel about this? Personally, I feel like it's a really, really good idea. I feel like that since social media has came into play as a big part of our lives, because we're so connected to people that we wouldn't have been connected to before. We get to see people that before social media we wouldn't be able to see them as often. So it is different, and our generation is really, really different coming into play, that social media played a big role, in our lives going into adulthood. And so with that being said, we got to take it back to the basics. Like, you can't be out here allowing your child to just be willy-nilly on social media and you're not even monitoring them. That old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, is true, but you're not going to find that village on social media, and your child's definitely not going to find it. Honestly, I'm going to be real though. Why should the government have to tell any parent this? Like, if you really think about the basics of what they are trying to implement into law next year, why should they have to tell a parent that who is raising a child up to be the best child of their abilities that they can possibly be? They shouldn't have to tell you that. Let's go into the parent having access to the account. Why would you allow a child to post on social media without you seeing it, or without you having access to their account? You're not able to see their messages. You're not able to see. Typically, if you're not on that social media site, and a lot of older people don't do Instagram, they do Facebook, the ones that are not like social savvy. So you probably won't even see the post at that. I don't know about you, but I feel as though social media robs children of their childhood and pushes their brain to mature quicker. TikTok nor Instagram are platforms that are not catered to children. Now, do I like these platforms? Yeah, of course. I love these platforms. But YouTube has done something so unique for children by having their YouTube Kids platform. I don't feel like that how Instagram and TikTok has their platform correlated, that is proper for children. It's just not. I mean, you can literally open the app and you got somebody shaking their butt, or you got somebody completely naked, or you got somebody gone off a perk perk 10, I didn't pop the perk 10. So it's just like, it's a lot with these social media platforms that you don't want to expose a child to, especially at a really, really tender age, because it could be detrimental to their growth and to them maturing and actually going out there and making something of this. Social media also is allowing like these kids to come up feeling like that they don't have to pick a career, that they could just be social media influencers. Well, there are people out there that didn't have to go and do a career. They went in straight into being a social media influencer. But with that being said, you don't know their story. You don't know, like, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know like anything about them. And most times, 9 times out of 10, a lot of them don't put out like, their complete lives. Like, they'll tell you, bits and pieces of it, but they're not gonna tell you the whole story. So look at it like this. You need to be trying to still push your child to gear up and go out there into the real world and get a job and get a career and have social media maybe as a side hustle for them, because in reality, not everybody makes it as a social media influencer, and it could take years and years and years to build up a credible platform. And who's going to finance a teenager after 18 to build up a platform unless you're truly invested into them in that manner? And a lot of people would prefer for their child to go to college than to invest in them to be a social media influencer. So I kind of feel like that it does help to keep your kids off of it and to make them do something different. YouTube Kids is a very, very powerful and incredible platform for, I feel like, kids and maybe even teenagers to a sense can enjoy. So on the kid application for YouTube, kids can be kids. You're not going to open that application and see, rap lyrics that you don't want your child to know, or, you're not going to see like, naked people that you haven't exposed your kid to or anything like that. But you can't shelter them to where they are helpless and they don't have like a true guide, or actually I'm gonna put it like this: they don't have a true reality check on life going out into the world at 18. Because I'm gonna say that was me. But I'm going to say that for a different video, being sheltered. But back to the kid application, they learn dance, sing, and play. Why would anyone expose their child to something other than them being a kid, showing them, how to be a kid, or reviewing toys? Because I know a lot of times, kids' brains are very, very tender and they sensitive, and they like to look at maybe other kids playing with toys. Whatever it is that they want to do, as far as like social media on a child platform, I feel like it's okay and it's comfortable. Children brains will deteriorate to their growth if they're exposed to situations where they have a positive long-term impact on their social skills and view of life. And not that I'm against rap, because I'm not against rap. I'm not going to be that parent to like completely keep my child away from like, music, but we're going to have a limit. I'm going to use one of the popular songs out right now, that Perk 10 song. Imagine your child overdosing. And I hate to put it like that, but I got to be real. That's, they're listening to Perk 10. I just popped a Perk 10. Okay. And what if they feel like at, a certain point, well, let me go pop some perks. Or I'm not saying that you have perks, but what if they go and pop too many pills and something happens to your kid? You can't leave your kid unmonitored on these social sites and feel like that they're gonna just be okay, and they're not gonna act out, because as kids they're gonna do what they see and they're going to repeat what they see. I've seen a lot of situations where kids have died from these TikTok challenges that be out. Let's move into age verification. So honestly, I feel like it's going to be very, very irrelevant to request age verification unless they're asking for ID. And I say that because a kid could go on a TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, any social site, and or email, and they can create an account and just lie on the date of birth part. So unless they're requesting ID, which on a privacy standpoint is going to hinder a lot of people, and some people may not feel comfortable giving out their ID, letting these social platforms know where they live exactly. So we'll see how that comes into play, but honestly I feel like that it's not going to be like a big deal unless they decide to request ID identification to let you know, like, hey, I am over the age of 18, and I can be on this platform. I don't need a parent to monitor me or anything of that sort. Now this is going to be different. It is going to be different because, as a teenager, especially, between the ages of 15 and 18, you want to feel independent. You want to feel like that you're in control. You want to feel like that you're an adult, but you're not there yet. And so for the government to come into play and say, hey, we're not going to give you access to this unless your parents say so between these hours. It kind of can upset them or whatever, especially the ones that are really, really wanting to be content creators. But I feel like it's a positive shift because it's going to make them focus more on things that I'm not going to say more important, because being a content creator, especially as a teenager in this day and age, is so important. They probably got the heart set on it, everything. So I would never take that from a kid or from my child. But what I would say is that you also have to show them that it takes time to build up a credible platform. And while you're building up your platform, you can go and work, or you can go and get a career, and if you could try to make them shift into, understanding that you want, if they want to be a content creator, try to make them shift into the mind frame of that, content creating is important. It's very important because it will get you to the next step in life. It will get you to, those doors that you want to see open. And if you have it to invest in them, by doggone it, invest, because those are your kids. And, if they're growing and they're doing good, their grades are good, and you got everything under control, and they trying to do something better, be content creators too, invest in them. But you also have to show them the importance of going to college and establishing an education, because when it comes to a formal background and you understanding the basics of physics, the basics of just English, public speaking, those are valuable skills that you're not going to learn unless you're in the classroom. And so if you could get them to go to school, I say get them to go to school. It's not something that's mandatory. You don't need school to be successful. You don't want to teach them that mind frame. But if you can get them to go, get them to go. And honestly, when it comes to kids, if you gear them up right, they're going to do what you want them to do. Most of them are not just going to go out into the world and do whatever unless they have been let go of and their parents have just let them go out into the world. Like most parents, I'm not going to say most, some parents do guide their kids even after 18 so that they do have a successful life. Honestly, I don't feel like that a girl adult brain fully develops into 25, but that could be simply from being in a sheltered environment, from not being able to see much or do much or whatever. But I feel like that is still healthy, because you don't want to be exposing kids to too much. I also want to touch on parents being aware of sexual predators. Now, this is a touchy subject because it's just touchy with people, because I know firsthand of all types of things dealing with sexual predators. When it comes to sexual predators, though, why would you want your child to be on a social site to be exposed to these people? They come in all different forms, shapes, and sizes. And when I say that, your child could think that they talking to somebody, and they try to meet up with them. They get to the location and it's someone different. So you got to be safe and careful, because everyone is not completely up there. And some people are wackos, and they will try to meet up with your child. They will try to kidnap them. They will try to, do whatever. But you as a parent, the government should not have to tell you these things or try to keep your child off of social media. You should know these things already, raising a child up. So social media shouldn't be a child's focus, in my opinion. Let a kid be a kid. If you want them to experience social media, and I feel like YouTube Kids is the best platform for them to be on. They're allowed to be kids. They're allowed to express themselves. And I co-sign it completely. But if you're if you have a child and you're able to afford more, and even if you're not able to afford a whole lot, you can put your child in something simply like soccer. I know soccer is not a really, really expensive sport for a child to be in. I'm just saying, get them something extra, an extracurricular activity, something for their brains to really be stimulated on, and try to get them to completely stick with it through the years. Whether that be a sport, it could be dance, cheer, which honestly, I personally will try to push my kids more to do a sport than dance and cheer, because I kind of feel like that athletes are a little bit more successful than the ones that consider themselves to be preps. But dance and cheer is two very big memories for kids. And if that's something that you want to give them, give it to them. Gymnastics, but also not only just an physical activity. You're gonna have to categorize all aspects of how you want to develop your child's brain. If you don't sit down and make a master plan and think about it, then you probably will be just like a little bit of everywhere. But religion, you want to get them structured with the religion, and you want to get them structured with a sport so that they're fit. You want them to understand the importance of being healthy and maintaining their weight and proportioning their food. You want to put them into classes that are going to strengthen their brain. I know something that I did was I would go to Hobby Lobby, and they would have these arts and craft classes, and that was something fun. But I was able to touch on my artistic skills in a different way. Also, I was able to make I had a bead trunk, like a suitcase, and I made all types of different things: earrings, bracelets, necklaces, just bejeweled, sparkles, dazzles, everything, everywhere. You want to make sure that you are touching on all aspects for them. So, I've mentioned religion, I've mentioned a sport or something to keep them fit, something to keep them creative, which we just discussed, going to Hobby Lobby, going to the library and allowing them to rent books, sit at the library for a little while and read books, and be on the computer. That's something very, very fundamental for kids. If your community has a program where your child could be involved in, my community at one point had the Boys and Girls Club, and It wasn't something that was really, really expensive. But it was something that a group of people could come together and your child could be supervised and plan. Get them into an after school program if you can. I personally feel like that as far as like after school, I would prefer for, a child to go to a learning center versus going and play and just have a good time. Because honestly, they've played at school. They've had PE and they've had recesses. So, I'm not saying that they have to go to a learning center every day, but if you got it and you can spend it, give it to them. Send them to the learning center. Send them to play some days after school. Just social media should not be the complete focus of a child. And I feel bad for any child whose parent is using them and, it's just you want to allow them to be kids. I'm not saying that it's wrong for a kid to have a YouTube page or anything like that. But if you using them in a negative viewpoint, or embarrassing them, in the long run, just, try to be sensitive of them. America does allow you to be whomever you want to be. Even if you mess up in life, you could still bounce back and you could be whoever it is that you feel like you want to be to an extent. So make sure that you have your kids focusing on things that are building their brains up and not harming them to where they are turning out to be horrible people. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button and the bell, and I'll see y'all in my next video.